Hey guys, it's Stephen here, back with another episode of 5 things that we learned after our 17th victory in a row. City are goddamn good at football. There's your analysis. Today, we're going to look at 5 things that I personally took from the game after a very impressive 3-1 victory away at Goodison Park against Everton. Before I do that though, I want to say thank you to the beautiful people over at OneFootball for being absolutely awesome, basically. I mean, look at it on screen right now next to me. It's a fantastic app, and it costs absolutely £0, 0 pence, $0. It's free, and over 10 million people currently use it to get all their football information, all the news, all the transfer headlines, all your stats and all your tables and all that kind of stuff sent directly to your phone. You get all the notifications coming through. I've been using it for over 2 years now, and it's fantastic. So if you want to nourish your phone and get a genuinely great football app, OneFootball is the app for you, I promise you. Click the link in the description, help support this channel a little bit, get a genuinely brilliant app, and go and enjoy OneFootball. Big love to OneFootball. Right, let's turn our attention towards yesterday's victory. It was so satisfying. It was so satisfying for a myriad of reasons. And initially, I'm going to start, it was satisfying because of Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez yesterday was very, very good, and he showed what makes him such a unique player. Now, I will hold my hands up here, and I apologise. Occasionally, Mahrez drives me absolutely mad, but there's nothing wrong with that. Occasionally, my family drive me mad. Occasionally, things that I love drive me mad, but it doesn't mean they don't have their frustrating sides. But what I will admit is that Mahrez is a uniquely talented player who can produce moments of brilliance and definitely has his place in a squad like this every now and then. He's very useful, and yesterday he showed the very best of Riyad Mahrez. He was great, basically a decisive factor in a tight game and absolutely essential to what made us win yesterday. Not only was it his quality of his goal, which we'll get onto in a minute, but it was also his usefulness in creating the space that led to Foden's goal with some good footwork as well. Mahrez occasionally can be frustrating, but he can occasionally be brilliant as well, and I can't deny that quality. And yesterday, Mahrez showed exactly what that kind of quality looks like. A genuinely stunning effort that most of our players don't even attempt, never mind score. Gundogan would have been proud, Mr. Wiki would have been proud with the whip on that finish. A special goal from a player who can be very special on his day. I tell you what, if we're going to win the league, we need players of every skill set. He's a little bit less direct than some of our players. He can slow it down a little bit, but he's more likely to try the ridiculous. And sometimes you need a player like that in your squad. It's important, if we're going to win all these trophies that we want to win, to have a variety of different styles that can be effective. And Mahrez yesterday showed what makes him unique, and also, I guess, the value of a squad in general, because every now and then you need a player like Mahrez to come in and be useful, and that's what he was yesterday. And big up Mahrez for being absolutely fantastic. Likewise, Bernardo Silva. I was thinking yesterday after the game about at one point some people wanted to sell Bernardo Silva. And it feels like so silly looking back that people were so down on Bernardo that we considered getting rid of him. Bernardo Silva not being in Manchester City, I mean, what would the world be coming to if that had become a realisation? Now, I will admit that last year he had a poor season. He had a bad year and a bit. But to be honest, so did everyone. Apart from maybe Kevin De Bruyne, who really covered themselves in glory last season. Pretty much everyone underperformed last season. The squad, Guardiola, Manchester City were largely poor last season, and Bernardo was a big part of that too, unfortunately. But what I will say is that I'm so glad that Guardiola, he kept the faith sensibly, Bernardo, because Bernardo, when he's at his best, he's an effervescent bundle of energy. He's unstoppable. Bernardo yesterday was back to something close to his best, and it has been for a while now. He was everywhere yesterday. He was genuinely running absolute wild. He was genuinely just pressing and winning balls and like drifting past people. And then, of course, the cherry on the cake, a lovely goal, a genuinely lovely goal. Bernardo is just a special player, man. Like, I'm so glad he's finding his confidence again. I'm so glad that he's enjoying his football again, because when Bernardo's on that kind of form, Manchester City are a better side. Now, of course, the question mark will be, where's he going to fit in the side? And now that Kevin De Bruyne is back, I don't personally buy into the idea that they can't play together. I mean, I always quote the Spurs game in the Champions League. I know we won that game 4-3. I know it feels like we didn't win it because we went out. But the attackers did their bit that day. The defence let him down. But the attackers were brilliant that day. And Bernardo and Kevin De Bruyne were in the same team that day. And they were both absolutely astonishingly good. They put Tottenham to the sword. But unfortunately, our defence let us down. I always cite that game as proof that they can play well together. And they were excellent together that day. Bernardo was out wide that day, I reckon. I know he was out wide, KDB in the middle, but he can be brilliant there. Now, I'm not saying that's his prime position because he's great in midfield, but I don't believe that they can't play together. It may be difficult to get the team together, but what I do know is that there must be some combination of Gundogan, Bernardo and KDB, that makes Manchester City better. It's on Guardiola to find out, because Guardiola knows just how good Bernardo is. Fingers crossed he will. Thirdly, we learned that we will concede every now and then. I'm bringing this up for a reason, because I've seen so many people lose their heads on social media, over-analysing, being overly critical to players because we dared to concede a goal. Guess what? We're going to concede goals again at some point in the future, and we'll concede goals again with Stones and Diaz and Zinchenko and Cancelo playing. That is just football. I know we made a few changes yesterday, so maybe that was the cause of it. But what I'm trying to point out is that we can't expect us not to concede goals. It's an unrealistic expectation to hold the players to perfection. I'm saying aim for perfection, of course. As long as the players are trying and making mistakes, rarely I will always let them off, you know. We will concede. I'm looking at the goal yesterday anyway. I don't really see whose fault it was. It looked like more of a collection of individual errors. I watched the goal back and I posted about it on Twitter, and everyone blamed Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker was caught between two defenders. At one point, he had Lucas Dean behind him. Then Decor came in. He had no idea who to mark, so he just retreated to the goal line and took the sensible option. It wasn't his fault. People said it was Laporte's fault. Laporte was where he needed to be at the front post. It looked like a communication error between the whole defence. Bernardo and Mahrez didn't really track the run of Decor. Phil Foden gave the ball away sloppily. Maybe someone could have done a little bit more to stop the cross coming in. There was loads of possible reasons. Either way, the point I'm making is that occasionally we will concede a goal, and that is totally normal. We need to remember that before we start being overly critical. City won 3-1 away at a very good side. You may not think Everton are a good side, but they are a good side. They're not only a world-class side, no, but they're still a good side. And occasionally we will score goals, and we will... occasionally we always score goals. Occasionally we will concede a goal that feels frustrating. But that is life, unfortunately, in the Premier League. It's just worth remembering not to lose our heads, or not to dig out Laporte or Walker or whatever, because I feel like some of the reactions online have been totally unfair, and especially given the fact that Laporte's made his profile on Twitter private now because he's getting abuse about it. Just nonsense. Wind it in, everyone. Anyway, back to positives. Rodri. I want to talk about Rodri a little bit. Now, I saw these stats. Over the last 365 days in Europe's top 5 leagues, plus the Champions Leagues, per 90. So we're talking a whole year of Europe's top 5 leagues and the Champions League. This is where he stands. In percentage of aerial challenges won, first. Passes completed, first. Passes under pressure, first. Touches, first. Carries first. These are stats which no midfielder in Europe are better than Rodri for a year. That's absolutely crazy. And Rodri's getting better and better. He's in the top 4% of ball recoveries. He's in the top 5% of passes into the final third. The top 5% of progressive carrying distances. He's in the top 9% of dribblers tackled. He's got a bunch of incredible stats there. You can see why Guardiola loves him. And we're now starting to see as well, fans understand what he's good at and why he's so impressive. And I do think he's actually playing a little bit better now than he was a few months ago. I never thought personally he was bad as people made out, honestly, and not just saying that, but he's definitely playing a bit better now because he's confident and he's finding his conviction, and we're seeing what a good midfielder he is. We're seeing all these players find their form, and Rodri at the moment looks like a fantastic footballer, and he just shows how good we got it, that this guy can be so powerful, winning the ball everywhere, being absolutely great at releasing the ball and getting it forward. He's a complete midfielder, Rodri, and he'll find his own status. He won't be Fernandinho. Fernandinho's a very different player, but he'll be the own Rodri. He'll be his own Rodri and be absolutely fantastic. Well, basically, I just want to give Rodri a bit of credit because he had so much stick, and it's so good to see him proving all of us wrong. Not all of us, well, some people rate him, definitely, but most of us wrong. What a player. Fair play to the lad. Likeable. And probably one day going to be a future captain or something like that. Him and Diaz will be fighting for the armband. Either way, I'm glad Rodri's on our side. What a player. And finally, one word, 17. Now, the reason I put the word 17 is because, of course, we won 17 games in a row. But what does that tell us about our team? It tells you so many things. And I talked about this last night on my watch along, and I talked about in the match reaction. But I'm going to bring it up here because not everyone has seen those videos. And I want to talk about how astonishing it is to win 17 games in a row. We've normalised this. Guardiola has normalised these massive winning streaks. That wasn't a thing in the Premier League beforehand to this extent. Now we do it every season. Every team, we do it every season basically, apart from last year. It feels like we've normalised winning this many games. And it's astonishing. It's astonishing for so many reasons. One, because we had players out injured, likes of De Bruyne, Aguero, we're missing some players, and Gundogan, and other players have been injured. Two, because the mental fortitude that it takes to be that focused at all times. Do you know how hard it is to win that many games in a row when you played Liverpool, Everton, you played United, you played Spurs, you played a bunch of good football teams like Aston Villa, Brighton, and all that kind of stuff, and you've had knockout games in the Cups. It's so hard. It's so hard not to drop a single point or just draw a game. And no one will complain if we did draw a game. It's astonishingly good. It takes immense amounts of focus from the players. Players that also aren't probably loving life right now. I'm definitely not loving life right now. Life in Manchester is absolutely shite. I'm sorry. It's dull. It's boring. It's impersonal. It's tedious. But that's what the players are living through. And they're going through a routine of doing nothing but going home, going to training, going home, going to training, going home, playing a football game. They can't see friends, they can't see family. I know they've got friends at work or whatever, but they can't do anything. And like we all can't, and it's tedious. And then to maintain this high level of standard, I struggle to do it. I sometimes can't be arsed doing these videos. But I tell you what, I sat here today for an hour before and do this video thing. I don't want to do it. Not because I don't like making videos, because I'm bored of the loop and the routine of doing the same thing over and over again while sat in this flat. I love my life's great. I'm not complaining. But what I'm saying is life is very testing and very boring at the moment. So I would not be surprised at any point if they just drop the standards in 1 minute, because that's what life does to you. But they're still not doing that. It's so impressive during these winter months that they're still being that impressive during this everything. I love it. I think these players don't get the credit they deserve. 17 wins in a row is an astonishing achievement. And this team is getting better and better, and fair play to them. Fair play to Guardiola. Fair play to every single one of those members of the squad, because they are working their asses off. And that level of professionalism and commitment is outstanding, and big love to every single one of those players. Guys, that is 5 things that I took from this game. Thank you to every single one who's supported me recently. I still haven't done my 50k stuff. I will do it, I promise you. I'll get around to it. I might do some videos tomorrow about that. For now though, big love to every single one of you. Make sure to keep liking these videos. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get me to 51k. Let's keep moving up and up and up like Manchester City are. And for now though, thank you to all the patrons currently scrolling down the side of the screen, and my patron producer, Ahmed Al-Ali. Ahmed, you absolute legend, of course. Big love to every single one of you. Like, comment, subscribe. Go watch the stream highlights from yesterday. In a bit.